tell you what, it's been a hell of a long time to wait between seasons, but finally I am happy to say Da Vinci's Demons is back, and it came back with a hell of a bang. Quite literally in this case. I binged watched season 3 in 3 days. It's just such a captivating show to watch and one that just reels your interest in from start to finish. I was glued to the TV screen the whole time. And you can really tell that they went all out with this being their final season. Whether they knew it at the time or not, the scale throughout this season dramatically increased. Starting out the season with a massive invasion from the Ottoman Empire stamped down a footprint for what was to come. Visually, the show has always been excellent, taking care of every little detail, whether it was from the wars happening all around Italy, or to Da Vinci's dissection of Clarice to find a clue, which by the way was gruesomely impressive stuff. My personal favourites are when Leo analyses certain scenarios in his brain, such as when he was chasing the assassin across the Florentine rooftops in an Assassin's Creed-esque style to find the fastest route to catch him. Story arcs begin to weave together as Da Vinci finds himself in the midst of both the Sons of Mithras and the Labyrinth, two mysterious groups whose true intentions thus far have been mainly shrouded in secrecy. Al-Rahim and the Sons of Mithras have been round since the premiere, and the Labyrinth, who saved Riario from death at the back end of last season, then performed some kind of torture conversion of sorts, with their members constantly using the phrase, "We are one." So the last time we left things, the full force of the Ottoman Empire was at the footstep of Naples, and Da Vinci was seconds away from laying waste to the Ottoman prince's flagship. But who did he see? Stood next to the Ottoman prince? His mother. Quite the cliffhanger we had, much like season 1 it left us hanging and wanting more. So where did we continue? Well, with one of the very best starts to a season that I have seen in a very long time. It was fast paced, we had multiple plots moving forward, shocking twists, and it was action packed all the way through. Da Vinci going through with an absolutely devastating attack to the prince's ship gave him a long-lasting despair of what he had done to his mother. But he had no choice. Taking out the flagship would cut off the rest of the Turkish force from entering the bay, and he couldn't risk Naples and his plan being overrun because of who was with the enemy. Turns out it didn't really matter either way, which was another gut punch to Da Vinci. The Turkish force was a lot more resourceful than most thought. They found a way to manoeuvre over the debris of the ship, and unleashed an unstoppable wave of attacks which brought Naples to its knees. And it was a great twist to see that Da Vinci's weapons were being used by the enemy. He was as shocked as the rest of us to learn that the Turks were using his designs and in some ways improving them. So how on earth did they get that information? And the revelation crushed Da Vinci. He and those he loved were all betrayed by Al-Rahim, who reached inside Da Vinci's head and took his designs, giving them to the Turks. Now that meant in a way that both the Sons of Mithras and the Labyrinth had bad intentions, and Da Vinci and co. were caught smack in the middle. He didn't want to side with one of them, hell, he didn't want to side with any of them. A new world being reborn from the ashes is not what Da Vinci wants to see happen. By this point he has already lost his father and thought he had lost his mother. So how was he to combat this enormous and ever-growing threat from the Turks with the Sons of Mithras's plan? The answer was nearly unthinkable. He turned to Sixtus. That's right, Sixtus. The plan of uniting all of the regions and states of Italy under one banner and marching against the full force of the Ottomans was very bold, to say the least, and one that Da Vinci decided was the best course of action. That didn't sit too well with, of course, practically everyone in the show, and who can blame them? They knew that the second the Turks were vanquished that Sixtus would turn his full attention to Lorenzo and Florence. He has been the constant evil since the very beginning of the show. Nevertheless, Da Vinci needed the resources that Sixtus had. Naturally, it wasn't easy to get both parties to agree to the deal. Riario had a huge part to play with getting that sealed in place. And whilst we're on the subject of Riario, he remains easily one of the most intriguing characters. Blake Ritson does an astoundingly good job as Riario. You can see when watching his constant struggle between good and evil. The Labyrinth, who've successfully converted him as one, pushes his darker side to commit plenty of damning atrocities, but helping Leo escape the clutches of the Labyrinth because of his continued and impressive resistance showed that there was still good to be found within him. Now, before Da Vinci caught him, they were both in search for an assassin at the Vatican, and as the murders were beginning to leave a trail, you sort of began to suspect where it was all leading, and who might be behind it all, whether Riario himself knew it or not. Cardinal Rodrigo, Captain Dragonetti, and the most shocking of all, Clarice, were just a few of his victims when he was under the influence of the Labyrinth. Riario was the true monster of Italy.
I will not be so easy to dispatch, you earth-vexing son of a whore!
I don't want to harm you. I want to help you.
His two sides came to surface in episode 6, where Da Vinci was attempting to cure him. This really was Riario's time to shine. Fantastic acting showcased a rabid, animalistic side of him that was only quelled, in the end, thanks to Da Vinci himself. Now at this point, Da Vinci was concentrating on trying to combat the war machines and unite as many forces as he could to join them in the fight against the Turks. So where was everyone else? Lucrecia's journey, although on an entirely different path, would end up leading her to the very same destination. Along the way, she was able to acquire a priceless piece of information in the form of the missing page from the Book of Leaves. It was said to contain designs destined to be read by Leonardo da Vinci himself. But on the journey, the missing page was not her best discovery. The reveal that Da Vinci had a sister, and a sister of which that could also read from the page itself, would prove vital in the war. Lucrecia had been attempting to atone for her past mistakes, and guiding Sophia, Leo's sister, back to him in Florence was an ideal way to do it. She found him just in the nick of time, mind you. With the Labyrinth capturing Leo for a second time, Carlo de' Medici decided to take a rather different approach this time around. Thankfully, aided to escape by his sister, Da Vinci confronted the traitor and put an end to him once and for all. It was then that the siblings worked together, deciphering the page from the Book of Leaves and trying to piece together what lied within it. And when Leo was done with crafting the unique design, he had a weapon in hand that could change the tide of the war indefinitely. Now, with everyone's path set to cross in the final battle, Da Vinci, Zoe and Nico needed more reinforcements. They were massively outnumbered and could only think of one man that they could turn to. I was so hyped to read that a fan favourite and my personal favourite guest star from the first season was making an emphatic return. Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, played by Paul Rice, epitomises the word fear. Everything that he does has you quivering in your boots. His eyes are creepy, the way he talks is commanding and confident, and why the hell not? He's immortal after all. His inclusion back into the fold was something I read about a week prior to watching this season, and truthfully, I wish I never saw the article to see the surprise on my own face. But I couldn't wait to see Vlad once again. Took me 8 bloody episodes to get there since he's involved in the final 3 of the season, but the wait was definitely worth it. And to learn that the Turkish commander, the one who slit Da Vinci's mother's throat, was a traitor to Vlad as well, made his inclusion ever more important. He abandoned Vlad as a boy and sided with the enemy, something which Vlad was eager to point out. Now here was sort of something I wish was slightly different, to be honest. I mean, we knew Vlad falling in battle was going to be pretty much a given, since it would give the series another chance to showcase him as an immortal, but he didn't strike that fatal blow. Yeah, he knocked his brother around plenty of times during the battle before his brother's strength overpowered him, but it was Da Vinci's weapon that did the deed. Like I said, I would have loved to have seen Vlad strike the killer blow, but I guess there weren't really that many established Turkish villains left, The Sultan was already dead via Lucrecia's hands, and Al-Rahim just isn't that sort of character. I don't know, maybe it's just me since I like Vlad so much as a character. Maybe I just wanted to see him get his just revenge. And as we witness Vlad and the Crusade defeated, Da Vinci threw in the towel. They had lost. And with Da Vinci on his knees and ready to face the end, someone hadn't gave up on him. Lucrecia, with the help of Zoe and Sophia, activated Da Vinci's weapon. And to say it made a difference would be a bit of an understatement. It absolutely tore through the remaining Ottoman forces, who were all of course still in their armour. And the ones that lived feared another strike from the weapon, so therefore surrendered. Da Vinci's plan had worked. Vlad of course survived, he's immortal, damn straight, and the Crusade were victorious. The Ottoman Empire was defeated. It was a fitting stage for the grand final battle, and a great send-off for a series which has been brilliant since the very beginning. Sixtus met his end at the hands of Riario, which made sense, and let's face it, he always had it coming, as Da Vinci, Zoe and Nico headed back to Naples, where the war began. Da Vinci and Lucrecia have been practically separated most of the show, but you always knew how much they cared for one another, and that's why this scene hurt the most. Tear up, I don't blame you, because watching Lucrecia die in Da Vinci's arms was heartbreaking. They had fought so hard for each other, but in Lucrecia's sacrifice gave Da Vinci and the others victory. So she can take solace in that she earned her redemption, and that she was worthy of Leonardo da Vinci. My overall verdict for Da Vinci's Demons Season 3 is a tough one, but I am going to go with a strong 8 out of 10. Da Vinci's Demons once again delivered on an impressive front, such as upping to larger scale battles without losing a drop of its magnificent visuals. Deaths were plentiful and shocking throughout. We had Da Vinci's mother, father, his mother again, Alfonso, Clarice, Carlo de' Medici, Captain Dragonetti, Al-Rahim, Pope Sixtus and Lucrecia, and I'm probably missing a few in there. That's an insane amount of character deaths. Now a lot of people might skip over this, but don't you guys just adore the show's theme and score? It's art, it really is. I never once skipped over it. It's easily one of my favourite TV show themes. The acting again was superb, especially from Blake Ritson, Tom Riley and let's not forget Paul Rice. The highlights for me this season, if I had to pick, were the start, the end and everything in between. If I had to narrow it down, it would be the Ottoman invasion, Riario's twisted good versus evil battle to escape the labyrinth's hold over him, and the final couple of episodes where Vlad joins Da Vinci and the Crusade. The backbone throughout this season was very strong, and it was all in all a thrilling final season to close out the story of Leonardo da Vinci. So why have I not gave this a 9 for example? Honestly, I really wanted to, but I know that the cast and crew went back to reshoot certain scenes. They must have received the news that season 3 was going to be its last, then gone back to give us a better overall ending. So ask yourself this, if there was going to be a season 4, 5 and possibly beyond, would Al-Rahim, Lucrecia, Sixtus and maybe even Carlo de' Medici have been killed off yet? I'm not so sure. No doubt at all that there are a lot of deaths this season, but looking at it, I do feel that some of them were an enforced change. In my book, there was no way that Al-Rahim in particular would have died the way he did. He was a central character since day one. A mysterious character, but a key part nonetheless. Him appearing from time to time, prophesying to Da Vinci, and you're telling me the original plan was to have him die from the hands of Da Vinci's weapon in the war? Nah, not for me. The Sons of Mithras would have continued, of course, with him being in it, but another sort of proof of a forced change is that we never actually find out what happened to the true Sixtus. The last time we see him, he's talking to the Turkish commander about his daughter's escape. Then, nothing. If his death was the case initially, then fair enough. I guess I'm just interpreting it wrong, or looking for places where changes could have occurred. So apart from Al-Rahim, I feel that Sixtus's death was added at the end. No doubt it was satisfying to see him finally get his comeuppance. He's been the big bad since the very beginning. But for that very reason is why I feel that his death would have been one of the final acts in the whole story. Possibly after Rome turned on Florence or something. I mean, the way he died made sense. If we continued for a few more years, I feel that his death would have been very similar to here. He was the one to start off Riario, setting him up to kill his mother. So Riario being the one to vanquish Sixtus made perfect sense. It seems it was just moved forward to here, since sadly we are not getting more seasons. How about you guys? What do you think regarding Al-Rahim and Sixtus? They were my only downsides really, in that not all the loose ends were tied up, and with such a small amount of time to do it in, you can't really blame them too much for that. The diplomacy with Lorenzo and Vanessa in Florence, as well as the Sons of Mithras with the real Sixtus, were probably the two sections which I feel had the most remaining questions. Don't get me wrong, I still thoroughly enjoyed the season from start to finish. They did exceptionally well to tie up most of the events. The Sultan Prince died, who was leading the invasion, as did their commander in Vlad's brother. Al-Rahim also perished at the weapon of Da Vinci's making, and the evil Sixtus met his fate in the final moments from the hands of Riario. So don't get me wrong, I still liked the ending, and it's by no means a complaint. Having it wrap up like this is a far, far better solution than having way too many loose ends. So in a way, credit to Starz for letting them go back for reshoots, but curse you for ending it in the first place. I don't understand what's going on with TV shows at the moment, to be honest, especially this year. My two favourite shows in Hannibal and Da Vinci's Demons have been cancelled or ended back to back, and both of them make no sense. I haven't seen Black Sails yet, which I will get onto at some point by the way, but I thought that Da Vinci's Demons was Starz' best show. I've read murmurs on the internet saying that Starz are considering bringing it back in a few years' time as sort of a mini-series, but nothing concrete on that yet. So let's hope it's true. If you've not tried out Da Vinci's Demons yet, it has 28 episodes in its 3 seasons, all around 48 to 55 minutes long, so a good length. It's got an interesting story with a wide range of diverse characters, so if you like adventure or fantasy, it is a show that I would highly recommend. At some point I aim to go back and review both seasons 1 and 2, along with a wide range of other shows, so stay tuned. If you have any recommendations for shows that you would like me to review, let me know down in the comments. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Happiness is a crimson field, littered with the mangled corpses of our enemies.